God alone is the true source of supply. All the appearances of the world, all the visible channels, all the institutions, all the employers, all the financial systems that people so often place their trust in, these are not the true source. They are temporary, shifting, and subject to change. They are but vessels, instruments through which the divine may choose to flow provision. Yet the fountain itself, the inexhaustible well from which all good springs forth, is God. When a person begins to understand this truth deeply, life takes on a new security, for nothing can ever cut them off from the infinite reservoir of supply. The river of provision does not begin with the job, the market, or the economy, it begins with spirit. Too often people become anxious because they mistake the instrument for the source. They believe that if their employer dismisses them, their business slows down, or one avenue of income closes, then their good is gone. But this is not truth. The job is not the source, it is only one channel among countless others. The market is not the source, it is only one expression among infinite possibilities. God is the source, and He has endless ways to meet your needs. When one stream dries up, another instantly appears because the river itself never ceases to flow. When you are anchored in this knowledge, you live without fear of loss, because you know you are tied not to a single circumstance but to the infinite. Think of the sun. It shines continuously, pouring light and warmth upon the earth. Yet the light may enter your home through different windows. If one window is closed, another may be opened, and the sunlight still enters. You do not cry out when one window is shut, for the sun itself has not gone away. In the same way, God's supply remains ever constant, and channels may open and close, but the source never fails. To put your trust in the channel is to limit your vision. To put your trust in God is to be forever secure. Many people have learned this lesson in times of trial. They may have lost a position they thought was indispensable, only to discover that new opportunities, richer and more rewarding, open before them. They may have watched one business close and another arise, bringing greater blessing than before. What seemed like loss was only a shift in channels, a redirection of the flow, but the fountain of supply never ceased. When you stand in faith, knowing that God is your source, you can say with confidence, "Though this door closes, my provision is untouched. Though this circumstance changes, the river of my good continues without interruption." It is vital to remember that all visible things are temporary, but spirit is eternal. Money, possessions, opportunities, all these come and go. But the law of divine supply is eternal, constant, unfailing. When you attach your trust to the temporary, you live in fear, for you know it may vanish. But when your trust is placed in the eternal, you are unshakable, for nothing can remove it. Your peace does not depend on outer appearances, but on inner knowing. Your joy does not rest upon balance sheets but upon the certainty of God's abundance. This truth also frees you from dependence on people. How often do individuals look to a particular person for help, approval, or provision, believing that if this person does not assist them, they are lost? Yet people are not your source. They are channels through which the divine may flow, but the source itself is higher. If one person turns away, another will be raised up to take their place. If one door is shut, 10 others will swing open. No person has the power to cut you off from your good, for your good does not come from man, it comes from God. When you live in this awareness, you can interact with others in freedom rather than fear. You do not beg, plead, or cling, for you know your supply is secure. You can give freely, bless others, and walk confidently knowing that your provision is eternal. This brings dignity, strength, and peace. You are no longer swayed by rejection or controlled by favor, because your trust is anchored in something far greater than human will. Consider the lilies of the field which neither toil nor spin, yet are clothed more beautifully than kings. Consider the birds of the air, which do not sow or reap, yet are fed each day. These do not worry, for their source is God. If creation is so sustained, how much more will you, a child of the infinite, be supplied? The same God who clothes the flowers and feeds the sparrows is your source of life, and His storehouse knows no limits. When you begin to affirm and realize this truth, your words and thoughts carry power. To say, "God alone is my source," is to cut the cords of fear that bind you to circumstances. It is to declare independence from worry and establish freedom in spirit. Words are seeds, and when you plant them with faith, they bring forth harvest. The repeated affirmation of truth imprints upon the subconscious, and what is impressed within is expressed without. Declare it daily, until it becomes the very atmosphere of your mind. God is my source. My supply is unfailing. No man, no system, no circumstance can withhold what is mine by divine right. This truth also guides your actions. When you recognize God as source, you act in generosity rather than hoarding. You spend with confidence, give with joy, and release with peace, for you know the flow is continuous. Fearful people cling to what they have, thinking supply is scarce. But the one who knows God as source is never afraid to give, for they understand that giving is only an opening of the channel for more to pour in. What you send forth in love returns multiplied. The more freely you let it flow, the more abundantly it comes back. At times life may test your faith. Appearances may rise up that seem to deny abundance. Bills may press, doors may seem closed, opportunities delayed. In such moments, the temptation is to yield to fear and declare lack. But it is precisely then that faith must hold firm. Do not be moved by appearances, for they are shadows. Affirm the truth more strongly than ever. God is my source. My supply is secure. This inner steadfastness has power to dissolve the seeming blockages and call forth new channels. Countless testimonies have shown that when faith is maintained in the face of difficulty, unexpected provision appears, sometimes in ways the mind could never have imagined. Your task is not to figure out the how, but to trust the source. Too often, people limit themselves by insisting supply must come in a certain way, through a particular channel. But God has infinite methods. The supply may arrive through a new idea, an unexpected opportunity, a gift, a chance encounter. If you cling too tightly to one expectation, you may miss the larger flow. Release your demands and allow the infinite to work in its own perfect way. Your role is to trust, affirm, and act when guided. The how belongs to God. This truth also removes competition and envy. If you believe supply is limited, you will see others as rivals, fearing that what they gain subtracts from your portion. But when you know God as unlimited source, you rejoice in the blessings of others, for their abundance does not reduce yours. The ocean of supply is vast enough for all. What belongs to you cannot be withheld, and what belongs to another cannot be taken from you. This truth dissolves jealousy and replaces it with peace and goodwill. In recognizing God as the only source, you also recognize that true supply includes more than money. It is health, peace, love, inspiration, opportunity, wisdom, all the elements of a rich and full life. To reduce supply to material things is to shrink the vision. God's provision embraces every aspect of your being. When you affirm Him as source, you invite not only financial blessings but wholeness of body, harmony in relationships, guidance in decisions, and joy in spirit. The supply is total because the source is all-encompassing. Therefore, live each day in calm assurance. Let not the fluctuations of the world disturb your peace. Let not the reports of scarcity shake your trust. The world may speak of downturns, shortages, and limitations, but Spirit speaks only of abundance, sufficiency, and increase. Choose which voice you will believe. If you tune your mind to lack, you will see lack. If you tune your mind to abundance, you will see abundance. God is the reality, and lack is the illusion. The more you affirm the truth, the more the illusion dissolves. This understanding also calls forth gratitude. When you know God as source, you begin to see His hand in every blessing, large and small. Each meal, each opportunity, each gift becomes a token of divine provision. Gratitude lifts your vibration, expands your consciousness, and attracts more of the same. To give thanks even before the visible appears is the highest act of faith, for it declares that you already know supply is on its way. Gratitude opens the doors wide for miracles to enter. So, walk today in the joy of this truth. You are not dependent upon shifting circumstances, uncertain markets, or human favor. You are anchored in the eternal. You are connected to the infinite. You are a child of the One who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, who holds the treasures of the universe in His hand, who delights to give good gifts. Lack is an illusion, fear is a shadow, and limitation is a lie. The truth is abundance, provision, and endless supply. Declare it again and again until it lives in your very bones. God alone is the true source of supply. Let this truth guide your thoughts, shape your words, inspire your actions, and steady your heart. Stand in it, walk in it, rest in it. For as surely as the sun shines and the rivers flow, your supply is secure, your needs are met, and your life is sustained by the infinite, unfailing, and eternal source, God Himself. Divine abundance knows no limit. It is infinite, ever-flowing, and eternal. The riches of the universe are not measured in coins, banknotes, or material possessions, but in the endless supply of life, love, opportunity, and provision that God continually pours into creation. To recognize this truth is to step into a reality where scarcity loses its power and fear has no hold. When you live with the consciousness of divine abundance, you no longer see obstacles as barriers, but as invitations for miracles to show forth. The world often teaches that there is not enough. From childhood, people hear messages of limitation. There is not enough money, not enough opportunity, not enough resources, not enough time. These beliefs take root in the mind and shape experience, because thought is creative. What you believe in your heart manifests in your life. If you believe in lack, you will attract lack. But when you believe in unlimited supply, you open the way for God's abundance to flow freely. Divine law answers not to fear but to faith. Imagine the sun. It shines without end, pouring out light and warmth to all. It does not decide who is worthy of its rays, nor does it ever fear that it will run out of light. Its nature is to give, and so it gives endlessly. Divine abundance is like that sun. It cannot run dry, it cannot be used up, and it cannot be limited by human thoughts of scarcity. When you align your consciousness with this truth, you become like a window open to the sunlight. The more you open, the more light floods in. People often make the mistake of confusing channels with the source. An employer, a paycheck, a business, or a client may appear to be the channel through which money and supply come, but they are never the source. The true source is God, the infinite mind, the divine substance behind all things. When one channel closes, another opens. The flow of abundance cannot be stopped because it does not depend on one person, one circumstance, or one system. It depends only on the infinite. This is why faith is so powerful. It shifts your focus from limited human channels to the unlimited source of all good. Consider a river. It flows endlessly, sometimes wending through narrow paths, sometimes widening into vast waters, sometimes hidden underground, but always moving, always present. Divine abundance is that river. You may think it has dried up if one stream disappears, but beneath the surface it is still flowing, ready to burst forth in a new place. The challenge is not whether the river flows, but whether you are open to receive from its endless course. Fear dams the river, faith opens the gates. Gratitude is one of the most powerful ways to align with divine abundance. When you give thanks for what you have, even if it seems small, you magnify it. Gratitude signals to the universe that you recognize the flow, and recognition multiplies supply. A person who complains of what they lack only strengthens the vibration of lack, but one who rejoices in the little sees it multiply into much. The loaves and fishes multiplied when thanks was given. The same law works today. Another key to living in divine abundance is generosity. The fearful spirit hoards, clings and withholds, believing that if they let go, they will lose. But the generous spirit understands that giving is sowing. When you give freely, you declare your faith in unlimited supply. You affirm that you cannot run out because the source is endless. And in giving, you create space for more to return, multiplied and overflowing. Divine law is circulation. What flows out must flow back in greater measure. Think of the air you breathe. You cannot hold your breath in fear that there will be no more. To live, you must breathe in and breathe out. So it is with abundance. If you try to hold it, you suffocate the flow. When you release, you create room to receive more. Divine abundance works in the rhythm of giving and receiving, sowing and reaping, flowing and returning. Every appearance of lack is a lie, a shadow with no substance. It may look real, but it cannot stand against the truth of divine abundance. When you focus on the appearance, you strengthen it. When you focus on the truth, the appearance dissolves. You may look at your bank account and see emptiness, but that is not reality. It is only one picture, one frame in the unfolding story. The reality is that you are connected to infinite supply, and channels of provision can appear in ways you never imagined. Unexpected income, new opportunities, gifts, and creative ideas are all expressions of the unlimited source. Affirmations are powerful tools to establish this truth in consciousness. Words shape belief, and belief shapes experience. When you declare daily, divine abundance knows no limit. I am supplied in every way, you impress your subconscious mind with the reality of unlimited provision. Soon your outer life begins to align with this inner truth. Faith grows stronger, fear fades, and doors begin to open. There is a divine timing to abundance. Sometimes supply is delayed, not because it is denied, but because the perfect channel is being prepared. Just as a farmer plants seeds and must wait for the harvest, so you must trust the process. Impatience uproots the seed, but faith waters it. While you wait, give thanks. While you wait, affirm the truth. While you wait, continue to act with confidence. The harvest always comes, and when it does, it often arrives greater than you imagined. Living in divine abundance is not only about money. It is about health, love, joy, peace, creativity, and every good thing. Abundance is the natural state of the universe. The trees do not produce a single leaf, but countless leaves. The stars are not few, but uncountable. The ocean does not hold a little water, but vast, endless depths. All around you, creation testifies to the overflowing nature of God. Lack is unnatural. Abundance is divine order. To embrace divine abundance is to live without fear of tomorrow. Many people worry about the future, hoarding, striving, and grasping because they do not trust the infinite. But when you know that supply is endless, you live in peace. You can spend with joy, give with love, and walk with confidence because you know that as you need, supply will appear. Your faith makes you free from the bondage of worry. This consciousness also transforms how you see others. Instead of envy or competition, you see unity and abundance. Another's blessing is not your loss, for there is no shortage in the infinite. You do not have to compete for supply, you only need to align with it. The universe is large enough for everyone to prosper, because God's provision is without end. When you celebrate another's abundance, you open the way for your own. When challenges come, when bills pile up, or when opportunities seem scarce, that is the time to affirm most strongly divine abundance knows no limit. Say it when appearance is contradicted, because it is in those moments that faith proves its power. The greater the seeming lack, the greater the opportunity for divine abundance to reveal itself. Out of nothing, everything is created. Out of emptiness, fullness is born. Trust that even in the darkest hour, the river of supply is still flowing. As you live in the consciousness of abundance, you will notice synchronicities, opportunities, and unexpected blessings appearing. A chance meeting brings a new business connection. A creative idea turns into a profitable venture. A gift arrives at just the right time. These are not coincidences, they are the natural outworking of divine law. Supply is always finding its way to you. Every day remind yourself, I am a child of the infinite. Divine abundance knows no limit. I walk in supply, I live in overflow, I give with joy, I receive with gratitude. This truth will root itself in your soul, and once it does, nothing can shake it. Appearances of lack will come and go, but your faith will stand firm, and abundance will continue to manifest in ways beyond your imagining. So release fear, embrace faith, give thanks, and live generously. The storehouse of heaven cannot be emptied, and you are forever connected to it. Divine abundance knows no limit, and as you believe it, speak it, and act on it, you will see it manifest in every area of your life: health, wealth, love, joy, and peace. You were not born for scarcity. You were created to live in the overflow of divine abundance, and it is available to you now, without limit, without end, forever. What belongs to you cannot be withheld. This is the eternal law of the Spirit. The universe is not a place of scarcity, but a place of perfect order where every individual has a divine inheritance that cannot be stolen, delayed, or denied. When you come to this realization, you stop living in fear of missing out, fear of being overlooked, fear of being left behind, because you know that what has your name on it in the divine plan will reach you at the appointed hour. No power on earth can stop it. No circumstance can block it. No mistake can cancel it. For it was written for you before the foundation of the world. Many people live with the sense that life is unfair, that opportunities pass them by, that doors are shut and blessings withheld. They believe chance, luck, or human favor determines their portion. But divine law does not operate by chance. It operates by alignment. When you are in harmony with truth, when you speak the word of faith and stand firm in your trust, you draw to yourself the things that already belong to you. It is not a matter of forcing, chasing, or struggling, but of recognizing, receiving, and allowing. What belongs to you cannot be withheld because God Himself is the keeper of your inheritance. Imagine for a moment that the blessings you desire, wealth, health, love, success, opportunities, are treasures stored in a heavenly vault with your name engraved upon them. They are not up for grabs, they are not lost. They are not in the possession of someone else. They are reserved for you, and divine law ensures their release at the right time. If you try to open the vault through worry, doubt, or impatience, it remains closed. But if you open it through faith, gratitude, and declaration, it swings wide with ease. Every time you affirm the truth, you remind yourself that no one else can live your destiny. No one can occupy your space in the universe. No one can take what belongs to you. What seems delayed is never denied. Delay is often preparation. The soil must be ready before the seed bursts forth. The structure must be strong before the roof is laid. The timing must be right before the blessing appears. But the law is infallible. What belongs to you cannot be withheld. Think of the ocean. No matter how many vessels sail upon it, there is always more water. The waves never cease, the tides never end. Supply is infinite, and so it is with divine provision. If someone else prospers, it does not take away from your prosperity. If someone else succeeds, it does not diminish your success. The universe is vast enough to hold every dream, every purpose, every blessing for every soul. Therefore, envy is unnecessary and fear is wasted. What is yours flows to you, and what is theirs flows to them. When you understand this, you cease striving. You stop forcing doors to open that are not yours to walk through. You stop comparing your path to another's. You stop doubting the process of your own becoming. You begin to trust in divine order. You begin to rest in the assurance that you are right where you need to be, and that what is appointed to you will meet you, no matter where you stand. Even if you feel forgotten, even if circumstances look barren, even if the evidence is invisible, the law is working on your behalf. The blessing is already making its way to you. Faith is the magnet that draws what belongs to you out of the invisible into the visible. Fear repels it. Doubt delays it. Worry distorts it. But faith calls it forth with authority. That is why words are powerful. When you declare with conviction, "What belongs to me cannot be withheld. My good comes to me now, swiftly and under grace," you align your consciousness with divine law, and consciousness is the channel through which the unseen manifests into the seen. Consider the story of a person who applied for opportunities but was rejected multiple times. They thought life had withheld their blessing. But each rejection was simply redirecting them toward the opportunity that truly belonged to them. When the right door opened, it was better than anything they could have imagined. The salary was higher, the environment healthier, the growth greater. What they thought was delay was divine timing. The law did not withhold. It was preparing. This is why gratitude is essential. Gratitude multiplies what you have and accelerates what is coming. When you thank God in advance for blessings not yet visible, you are demonstrating faith in the law. You are saying, I know it is mine. I know it is on the way. I know it cannot be withheld. And this knowing releases anxiety, creates peace, and keeps you aligned with divine flow. Gratitude unlocks the doors of abundance because it shifts your focus from lack to supply, from waiting to receiving, from fear to trust. Generosity also plays a role. When you give freely, whether of money, time, encouragement, or love, you affirm that you live in a universe where supply is unlimited. You cannot give what you fear losing. You can only give what you know will return multiplied. Every act of generosity says, I am not afraid of lack, because what belongs to me cannot be withheld. I release with joy, knowing more is coming. This keeps the circulation of blessings alive in your life. Appearances may deceive. A bank account may look empty, an opportunity may seem lost, a relationship may appear broken. But appearances are not reality. Divine reality says your inheritance is secure. What belongs to you will always find its way, even if it must travel around obstacles, even if it takes time to appear, even if it arrives through unexpected channels. You cannot miss it. You cannot lose it, for it is bound to you by divine decree. Therefore you must walk by faith, not by sight. Sight will show you delays, denials, and difficulties. Faith will show you certainty, supply, and divine order. Sight may make you anxious, but faith makes you unshakable. Sight sees what is missing, faith sees what is coming. And faith always wins because faith is aligned with truth. So release the fear that someone else will take your blessing. Release the worry that your opportunity has passed. Release the belief that you are behind. You are right on time. You are right on path. You are right where you need to be for your good to locate you. Life is not a competition. It is not a race. It is not a scramble for limited resources. It is the unfolding of divine order, and your portion cannot be lost. Let this truth settle deep within you. What belongs to you cannot be withheld. Say it when doubt arises. Say it when fear whispers. Say it when you feel overlooked. Say it until it becomes your natural response. With every repetition, you engrave it deeper into your subconscious, and your subconscious is the fertile soil where faith grows and manifests in your reality. You will find that as you affirm this truth, your anxiety decreases, your confidence rises, and your blessings appear. You will begin to notice synchronicities, open doors, unexpected provision, and divine connections. You will see how the universe arranges circumstances in your favor. And you will marvel at the perfection of divine timing, realizing that nothing was ever late, nothing was ever lost, nothing was ever withheld. Every dream you carry, every desire planted in your heart is there because it already exists in divine reality. It is not wishful thinking, it is divine signaling. The dream is the evidence of the blessing. The desire is proof of the supply. The longing is confirmation of fulfillment. You would not have the vision if the provision did not already exist. Therefore, trust the law. What belongs to you cannot be withheld. Walk boldly into each day knowing that you are divinely guided, divinely supplied, divinely protected, and divinely provided for. Live with the unshakable assurance that everything you need, everything you desire, everything you are meant to experience, is already secured for you. When you align with this truth, you release worry, you release fear, and you begin to live in peace, joy, and expectancy. The law is unchanging, eternal, and infallible. What belongs to you cannot be withheld. And today, as you stand in this truth, you open the floodgates for blessings to pour into your life in ways beyond your imagination, under grace and in perfect timing. Faith is the golden key that unlocks every door to abundance, health, love, and success. Fear, on the other hand, is the shadow that slams those very doors shut. Life responds to the vibration we carry, and faith and fear are the two great forces that shape our experiences. Faith draws to us every good thing, while fear pushes it away. When we understand this law and live by it, we step into the realm of miracles, where blessings flow to us naturally, without strain or struggle. Faith is not merely belief, it is an inner knowing, a certainty that divine law is always working for our good. It is a quiet confidence that no matter what the outer world shows, the inner world of spirit is full, complete, and overflowing. Faith does not waver when bills pile up, when opportunities seem scarce, or when doors appear closed. Faith sees beyond appearances and declares, all that I need is already mine. It comes to me now, under grace, in perfect ways. Fear is the opposite vibration. It whispers lies of limitation. What if I fail? What if the money doesn't come? What if I lose everything? Fear feeds on appearances, magnifies problems, and shuts down the flow of divine supply. Fear is the great repellent, pushing away opportunities, blocking doors, and creating delays. It is like placing a wall between yourself and the river of abundance that is always flowing toward you. Consider the way a magnet works. A magnet draws iron filings to itself without effort. Faith works the same way. It magnetizes good into your life. But if you turn the magnet the wrong way, it repels. Fear turns the magnet backward, pushing away the very good you desire. This is not punishment, but law. Just as gravity pulls an object down whether you believe in it or not, so does fear repel and faith attract, regardless of your awareness. The good news is you can choose which force you operate under. When you live by faith, you step into harmony with divine order. Circumstances align, people appear, opportunities unfold. The right ideas come to mind at the right moment. You walk into the right place at the right time. Things that once felt impossible become effortless. Faith keeps you calm in the storm, because you know the storm is temporary and the sun is already shining above the clouds. But fear makes the storm appear endless. Fear convinces you that the clouds are permanent, that you are lost, that nothing will change. Fear robs you of peace, drains your energy, and blinds you to solutions. Many people fail not because they lack resources, but because fear paralyzes them from acting. Fear whispers, "Don't try, you'll fail." Faith whispers, "Try and watch God work through you." Think of a farmer planting seeds. He places them in the soil and trusts that they will grow. He does not dig them up each day in fear, wondering if they are sprouting. He has faith in the process, and because of that faith, the harvest comes. Faith in divine law is the same. You speak your word, affirm your truth, and know that it is already working beneath the surface, even if you cannot yet see results. Fear, on the other hand, digs up the seed, doubts the soil, and delays the harvest. Faith is an active force. It is not idle wishing but bold declaration. It is saying, "I walk in abundance. God is my source. Every need is already supplied." And then acting as though it is true. Faith takes steps even when the path is not fully visible. Fear waits for everything to be guaranteed, and so remains stuck. Faith builds bridges where none seem to exist. Fear sees only gaps. Let us remember that the universe responds to vibration, not to words alone. You may say, "I am prosperous." But if your heart is trembling with fear, the vibration contradicts the words. The key is to align your feelings with your declarations. Speak words of faith until they sink deep into your subconscious. Replace fear thoughts with faith thoughts. When fear says, "There isn't enough," faith says, "There is more than enough, for supply is infinite." When fear says, "You are alone," faith says, "God goes before me and makes my way straight." When fear says, "What if I fail?" faith says, "Divine success is assured, for I am guided by wisdom." Every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen your spiritual magnet. You become a powerful attractor of good. Money, opportunities, relationships, health, all flow naturally into your life, because your vibration matches abundance. Fear, on the other hand, keeps you circling the same mountains, trapped in cycles of lack and struggle. But the moment you shift into faith, even slightly, doors begin to open. There is a story of a man who faced financial ruin. His business had collapsed, and he saw no way forward. Fear consumed him. He worried day and night, and nothing improved. Then, one morning, he decided to shift his focus. He declared, "I refuse to live in fear. God is my source. Supply is here and now." Each day he affirmed it, even when nothing changed outwardly. Within weeks, unexpected opportunities appeared, old debts were repaid, new clients arrived, and his situation turned around. The only change he made was from fear to faith. The law responded instantly. Fear often disguises itself as caution, but true caution is wisdom, while fear is paralysis. Faith does not mean reckless action, it means inspired action. It means listening within and trusting the guidance you receive. When guided by faith, even small steps create big shifts. When guided by fear, even the best opportunities slip through your fingers. We must also understand that fear attracts the very thing it dreads. The mind is magnetic, and what you focus on expands. Fearful thoughts are like prayers for what you do not want. If you continually think, "I will lose my job, I will run out of money, I will get sick," you are magnetizing those outcomes. Faith works the opposite way by holding fast to the good you call it forth. So how do we move from fear to faith? The first step is awareness. Catch yourself when fear thoughts arise. Do not condemn yourself for them, but replace them. Speak aloud words of faith. "God is with me. I am safe. I am supplied. All is well." Speak them until they feel real. Fear loses power when confronted with truth. The second step is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your vibration instantly. Even in times of apparent lack, there is always something to be grateful for. Breath, life, sunlight, food, friendship. Gratitude aligns you with abundance, for it says, "I already have," and by the law of attraction, more is given. Fear says, "I don't have enough," and attracts more lack. Gratitude multiplies, fear diminishes. The third step is action. Faith without action is incomplete. Take steps in the direction of your desire, no matter how small. If you are seeking prosperity, affirm it and also act with wisdom. Send the application, make the call, open the door. If you are seeking health, affirm wholeness and also nourish your body, rest and care for yourself. Faith acts because it trusts the result. Fear hesitates, waiting for guarantees. The fourth step is surrender. Faith does not try to control every outcome. Faith says, "This or something better now manifests for me." Under grace, it trusts divine wisdom to choose the form of the blessing. Fear clings and demands, creating tension. Faith releases and receives, creating flow. Imagine your life free from fear, where every day you walk with calm assurance, knowing supply is endless, opportunities are abundant, and success is certain. Imagine no longer being ruled by doubt or worry. This life is possible because it is aligned with divine law. Faith attracts, fear repels, that is the law. From this moment, refuse to let fear govern your mind. When fear knocks, let faith answer. When fear whispers, impossible, let faith declare all things are possible. When fear says, you will fail, let faith proclaim, I am divinely guided to succeed. Fear has no power except what you give it. Faith, once embraced, moves mountains. Affirm with me now, I live in faith, not fear. I attract every good thing. Doors open before me. Supply flows to me endlessly. Nothing can block my good, for God is my unlimited source. Say it until you feel it. Believe it until you see it. And then watch as your life transforms. Fear dissolves, faith rises, and abundance rushes in. For it is law, faith attracts, fear repels. Gratitude is a divine force that opens doors, moves mountains, and multiplies provision beyond measure. When you choose to give thanks, not only for what you already see but also for what is still unseen, you align yourself with the eternal law of increase. Gratitude is not a mere polite gesture or a fleeting emotion, it is a spiritual magnet, a creative power that draws more and more good into your life. It is the key that turns what appears small into abundance, and it is the light that transforms lack into plenty. So often, people fall into the habit of complaining, of rehearsing their troubles, of magnifying what they believe is missing. They say they want increase, yet their words are filled with lack. They desire abundance, yet their thoughts rehearse scarcity. But divine law is exact, it returns to you what you continually project. To dwell on absence is to multiply absence. To give thanks for presence is to multiply presence. Gratitude shifts the focus from what is not to what is, and in that shift, the seed of expansion is planted. Gratitude is not bound by appearances. You may look at your bank account and see only a small sum, but if you bless it with genuine thanksgiving, you open the way for it to grow. You may look at your table and see only a simple meal, yet if you give thanks for it, more meals and more feasts will find their way to you. Gratitude multiplies because it declares to the universe, I already have enough. I live in sufficiency. I am satisfied in God's provision. And when the universe hears this declaration of sufficiency, it mirrors it back by providing more. Think of the simple truth, what you bless, blesses you. What you criticize, diminishes. When you bless the money in your hand, the opportunities before you, the health in your body, you activate the law of multiplication. But when you despise what you have, when you belittle it, when you say it is not enough, you push it away. Gratitude is the embrace, ingratitude is the rejection. And only that which you embrace will stay and grow. Gratitude works even when the evidence seems absent. In fact, it is most powerful when expressed in faith before the manifestation appears. To thank God for provision before it arrives is to plant the seed that ensures the harvest. This is why gratitude is not simply reactive, it is proactive. You don't wait for things to change before you give thanks, you give thanks so that things must change. Gratitude precedes the miracle. Gratitude prepares the soil for the crop. Gratitude opens the channel for supply to flow. Consider how a farmer treats his land. If he despises the soil, complains about the little harvest, and refuses to see its potential, the ground will not yield. But if he honors the soil, cares for it, and sows into it with expectation, the soil produces abundantly. Your life is much the same. Gratitude is the care of the soil of your soul. It is the faith that, even when you see only a small sprout, the harvest is on its way. Every act of gratitude is a seed, and seeds grow in silence, often unseen. Gratitude expressed daily builds up in the unseen until one day, the floodgates open, and you find yourself overwhelmed with blessings you cannot contain. A grateful heart is never empty for long. It always finds more to give thanks for, and the more it finds, the more flows in. This is the divine cycle of increase, gratitude, provision, gratitude, multiplication, gratitude, overflow. Gratitude not only multiplies provision but also transforms the heart. It shifts you from anxiety to peace, from fear to faith, from bitterness to joy. You cannot hold gratitude and fear in the same thought. You cannot complain and rejoice in the same breath. One displaces the other. Gratitude is the higher vibration. It lifts you out of the low energy of lack and tunes you into the frequency of abundance. The universe responds not to your words alone, but to the vibration behind them. When your heart is thankful, your vibration rises, and blessings meet you on that higher plane. Gratitude multiplies because it acknowledges God as the ultimate source. It says, I trust you. I recognize your hand in all things. I honor you as the giver of every good gift. And when God is honored, His supply flows freely. But when we take things for granted, when we treat blessings as small or ordinary, we close the channel. For the measure you honor is the measure that returns to you. Gratitude honors, dishonor diminishes. There is a story of a man who always complained about his small wage. Week after week, he grumbled that it was not enough. One day he decided to change. Instead of cursing his wage, he began to bless it. Every time he received his pay, he said, "Thank you, God, for this provision. I bless it, and I know it multiplies." Within months, unexpected opportunities arose, and his income doubled. Soon after, it tripled. The only thing he had changed was his attitude. Gratitude transformed his circumstances. Gratitude has no limits. It can be practiced in every area of life. Be grateful for your body, and health improves. Be grateful for your relationships, and love deepens. Be grateful for your talents, and opportunities expand. Be grateful for your challenges, and wisdom grows. Nothing is wasted when seen through the eyes of thanksgiving. Gratitude takes the raw materials of life, whether pleasant or painful, and turns them into stepping stones for increase. Many people wait for a major breakthrough before they give thanks, but the secret is to give thanks now. Give thanks for the small, and the great must follow. If you cannot be grateful for what seems little, how can you be trusted with much? Gratitude proves your faithfulness with the small, and divine law rewards you with the greater. A grateful heart does not live in comparison. It does not look at what others have and feel diminished. Instead, it rejoices in every blessing, knowing that the same source that blessed another is the same source that blesses you. Envy blocks supply. Gratitude releases it. When you celebrate another's good, you affirm abundance in your own life. When you resent another's good, you affirm scarcity for yourself. Gratitude always multiplies by expanding your sense of what is possible. Gratitude also frees you from fear of loss. When you know that God is the source and that supply is endless, you do not cling in desperation to what you have. You give freely, knowing more will come. You spend with confidence, knowing circulation is the law of life. Money must flow like a river. If you hoard it, the river stagnates. If you release it in gratitude, it returns in waves. Gratitude keeps you in the flow of circulation, and circulation ensures multiplication. Let your gratitude be spoken aloud. Words have creative power, and when you declare your thanksgiving, you set in motion a vibration that draws more to you. Say often, "I am grateful for the blessings I see and for those on the way. I bless what I have, and I expect increase." These words, repeated in faith, carve new patterns in your subconscious mind, and the subconscious, once impressed, cannot help but draw experiences to match. Gratitude is not seasonal, it is daily. It is not a holiday ritual, it is a lifestyle. Practice it in the morning as you rise, in the evening as you sleep, and throughout the day in every circumstance. Look around you right now. There is something to thank God for. Breath in your lungs, light in your eyes, opportunities before you, lessons behind you. Each is a gift. Each is a seed. Each deserves your gratitude. As you cultivate this attitude of continual thanksgiving, you will notice subtle changes first. Peace will deepen. Fear will lessen. Contentment will grow. Then you will notice outer changes, new doors, new income, unexpected gifts, surprising opportunities. And soon you will find yourself surrounded by abundance greater than you once imagined. Gratitude has multiplied your provision. Gratitude is not just about more money or material gain. It is about living in harmony with divine law. It is about aligning your spirit with truth. It is about recognizing that every breath, every moment, every resource comes from an inexhaustible source. When you live in this awareness, life itself becomes a miracle. Nothing feels lacking, because in every moment, you are full. Gratitude multiplies because it brings you into harmony with the eternal truth that God's supply never ends. Therefore, practice gratitude deliberately. Write it. Speak it, think it, live it, and know this, every time you give thanks you open the way for more. Every word of gratitude is a seed of multiplication. Every breath of thanksgiving is an invitation to abundance. And as you remain steadfast in this truth, your life will overflow with provision in ways you could not have planned, for gratitude multiplies provision beyond measure. Generosity keeps the flow alive. The universe was designed to circulate, to move, to breathe like the ocean tide. Nothing in life was ever meant to stagnate or be hoarded. The air you breathe, the water that flows, the sunlight that shines, all are gifts that move in cycles, freely shared, never stored away in fear. In the same way, money, wealth, and opportunities are meant to circulate through your life. When you give with faith, you are not losing, you are setting in motion the law of increase. Every act of generosity declares that you trust in the eternal source of supply, and this trust keeps the river of abundance moving toward you without end. Fear tells people to hold on tightly. Fear whispers that if you let something go, you may never see it again. Fear convinces people to cling to possessions, to money, to blessings, as though they are the last they will ever receive. But faith knows otherwise. Faith knows that giving creates space for receiving. Faith understands that circulation is the law of life, and what you release with love must return multiplied. To live generously is to live in harmony with divine law, and harmony always brings peace, prosperity, and joy. When you give freely, whether it is money, time, kindness, or even a word of encouragement, you prove to yourself and to the universe that you believe in unlimited supply. You are saying, "I trust that more will come, for my source is endless." This belief keeps the flow alive. Generosity is not simply about helping others, it is about aligning yourself with the eternal cycle of abundance. Every time you give, you keep the divine current moving. The river cannot flow into a clenched fist, but it rushes easily into open hands. Many people wonder why their supply seems stuck or slow. They pray, they affirm, they hope for increase, but at the same time they are unwilling to release. They hold tightly to every coin, every dollar, every blessing, afraid to share, afraid to spend, afraid to give. Yet this fear is the very dam that blocks their flow. Generosity breaks the dam. It sends a message to the universe. I am ready to circulate. I am ready to release. I am ready to be a channel of blessing. The moment you begin to give with joy, the flow resumes and new doors of supply open wide. Generosity does not always mean giving large sums of money. It begins in the heart, in the willingness to share, no matter how small. The widow's mite, given in faith, was counted greater than treasures given with pride. What matters is not the size of the gift, but the spirit behind it. When you give from a place of love, you are watering the seeds of abundance. A smile, a kind word, a helping hand. These two are acts of generosity that keep the flow of blessing alive in your life. There is also a secret in generosity that many overlook. What you release is never gone, it is only transformed. When you give, you are not depleting yourself, you are planting. Every generous act is a seed in the soil of the universe, and every seed must grow. Some seeds grow quickly, returning blessings in days. Others take time, developing roots deep in the unseen before bursting forth in abundance. But all return, all multiply. All bring harvest, for divine law cannot be broken. Think of water again. When a well is drawn from often, fresh water continues to rise. But when a well is ignored, it becomes stagnant, unfit to drink. In the same way, your financial life, your blessings, your opportunities must keep moving. You are not meant to be a reservoir, but a channel. Wealth is healthiest when it moves, when it blesses, when it circulates, when it creates joy for others and for yourself. Generosity is the proof that you trust the well will never run dry. Spend with confidence, give with joy, release with gratitude. Each time you do, you affirm that God is your unlimited source, not the money in your wallet, not the balance in your account, not the possessions you hold. You prove to yourself that you live by divine law, not by human fear, and in response, life pours more into your hands. You will notice that unexpected checks arrive, new opportunities appear, gifts come from surprising places, and your needs are met in ways you could never have planned. This is the miracle of generosity. It multiplies as it moves. Some people say, I will give when I have more. But the truth is, you have more when you give. Waiting to feel abundant before practicing generosity is like waiting for a fire to warm you before adding wood to it. Generosity is the spark that keeps the fire alive. When you give even a little with a willing heart, you fan the flame of abundance, and it grows brighter. The very act of generosity shifts your consciousness from lack to plenty. It teaches your subconscious mind that you are not poor, you are not in danger, you are not without, because one who can give is one who has. Generosity also heals fear. Each time you give, you prove that fear cannot control you. Fear says, hold on tightly or you will lose everything. Faith replies, release it joyfully, for more is already on the way. Generosity is the practical expression of faith. It is not just words, not just affirmations, but action that demonstrates your belief in divine supply. The more you practice generosity, the freer you become, for fear loses its grip on your heart. There is joy in generosity. Have you noticed the light in someone's eyes when they receive an unexpected kindness? Have you felt the warmth in your own heart when you help someone in need? That joy is the universe echoing back your giving. It is a sign of alignment, proof that you are moving with the current of life, not against it, and when you move with the current, everything flows more easily. Opportunities come without strain. Supply arrives without struggle. Doors open without force. Generosity keeps you in this flow of ease. Generosity is also magnetic. Those who give freely often find themselves surrounded by generosity in return. Their lives attract helpers, supporters, opportunities, and blessings. People want to bless those who bless others. The universe reflects back what you radiate, and a generous heart shines like a beacon, drawing abundance from every direction. Even in times when it seems you have little, generosity is the key to breakthrough. Giving in times of plenty is beautiful, but giving in times of need is powerful. It sends a bold message to the universe. I refuse to bow to appearances. I refuse to live in fear. I believe in unlimited supply. That kind of faith shakes the heavens and opens new streams of blessing. Many testimonies of sudden increase, of miracles of provision, come from those who dared to give even when it looked impossible. For generosity in scarcity is an act of pure faith, and faith moves mountains. Remember this truth. You can never outgive the infinite. No matter how much you pour out, the source always has more to give back. The more generous you are, the more generous life becomes toward you. It is a cycle that cannot be broken. Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So, live generously. Be generous not only with your money, but with your words, with your time, with your forgiveness, with your love. Release grudges, release bitterness, release criticism. These too are forms of generosity. For as you let go of negativity, you make space for joy, peace, and harmony to flow into your life. Generosity is not only about material giving, it is about an open spirit, a willingness to share the best of yourself with the world. Generosity keeps the flow alive because it keeps you connected to the heart of God. God is infinite givingness, infinite love, infinite supply. When you practice generosity, you are imitating the divine, reflecting His nature and stepping into His abundance. You become a co-creator in the circulation of blessings, and life responds by showering you with more to give, more to enjoy, more to share. Let your life be a testimony of this law. Each day ask yourself, how can I keep the flow alive? How can I circulate blessings today? Maybe it is a gift, maybe it is a kind word, maybe it is a prayer for someone in need. No act is too small, for every act is a seed. And as you continue to sow generously, you will find yourself living in a harvest that never ends. The world needs generous souls. The world is filled with fear, scarcity thinking, and competition. But one generous heart can change the atmosphere. One generous act can open a chain of blessings far beyond what you imagine. When you choose generosity, you are not only keeping your own flow alive, but you are also keeping the flow of abundance alive in the lives of others. You are a channel, and through you God's unlimited supply reaches many. So declare it with boldness. Generosity keeps the flow alive. I will not hoard. I will not fear. I will not cling to appearances. I will give with joy. I will spend with gratitude. I will release with faith. For my supply is not of man but of God. The more I give, the more flows back to me. The more I circulate, the more I receive. And the flow will never end because the source is unlimited. When you look at the world with physical eyes, it is easy to be deceived by appearances. You may see bills stacked on your table, a bank account that seems low, or opportunities that seem to have passed you by. These images can press upon the mind with heaviness, convincing you that lack is real and that struggle is inevitable. Yet the truth is greater than appearances. Lack is an illusion, a shadow with no substance, a mist that vanishes when the light of faith shines upon it. God has never created lack, for His nature is infinite abundance, and His law is ceaseless supply. To believe in lack is to believe in something that has no reality in the divine order of life. Imagine the desert, dry and barren to the eye. Yet beneath its surface lies water, flowing in hidden streams. To the eye, it looks like lifeless land, but in truth there is hidden abundance waiting to rise. So it is with life. The unseen is greater than the seen. The spiritual reality of abundance surrounds you and moves through you, even when appearances suggest otherwise. When you measure life only by appearances, you cut yourself off from the invisible streams of supply that are always present. But when you turn to God as your source and anchor your heart in faith, you pierce the veil of appearances and call forth provision from the unseen into the seen. Fear feeds on appearances. It whispers that you will not have enough, that time is running out, that opportunities are gone, that the world is unfair. Fear thrives on the illusion of lack, and it tries to bind you in chains of worry. But fear has no power when confronted by truth. The moment you say, God is my source, and His supply cannot fail, the illusion begins to dissolve. Light breaks through, and you realize that nothing can truly be withheld from you. Every good thing already exists for you in the spiritual realm, waiting for your faith to open the door. Think of a movie projected on a screen. You see characters, settings, and events, but they are only shadows of light, not reality. If the film stops, the picture disappears. So it is with appearances of lack. They are only temporary projections, not eternal truth. The eternal truth is abundance. The eternal truth is supply. The eternal truth is that God withholds nothing from His children. Your task is to stop giving reality to shadows and instead trust in the light that never flickers. Many people live as if the world's economy determines their well-being. They fear downturns, recessions, and scarcity, forgetting that the divine economy is always expanding, always flowing, and always unfailing. God's economy does not rise or fall with human systems. It is eternal, constant, and limitless. When you align yourself with divine law, you step out of the instability of appearances and into the certainty of spiritual wealth. Then no outer condition can disturb your peace, because you know your supply does not depend on appearances but on God. If you were to plant a seed in the ground, you might look day after day and see nothing. The soil looks empty, barren, lifeless. Yet beneath the surface, life is stirring. Roots are spreading. Growth is happening unseen. To the impatient eye it appears that nothing is happening, but to the eye of faith, the miracle is already underway. So it is with divine supply. You may not see immediate results, but the moment you affirm and trust, the seed of abundance is planted, and it must grow. Lack is nothing but the soil before the sprout. It is not the end, it is only a beginning. Every great teacher of truth has reminded us that what we see with human eyes is only a fraction of reality. The unseen is the true power. Spirit moves first, manifestation follows. When you accept this, you stop allowing appearances of lack to dictate your emotions. You no longer rise and fall with the outer picture, but you anchor yourself in the unchanging abundance of God. Then peace fills your heart, and peace is the fertile ground where supply multiplies. It is not enough to merely know that appearances are illusions, you must live as though it is true. This means refusing to speak words of lack, even when circumstances look tight. It means giving thanks for abundance even before it appears. It means spending with confidence, knowing that divine circulation is always at work. It means giving generously, refusing to hoard, and trusting that what you release returns multiplied. Every act of faith declares to the universe, I believe in abundance, not in lack. And the universe must respond to your belief. Picture yourself standing at the edge of the ocean with a cup in your hand. You scoop the water and look at it saying, this is all I have. Yet before you stretches an infinite ocean, endless, vast, inexhaustible. Why cling to the cup when the ocean is yours? So it is with God's supply. The cup of appearances may look small, but the ocean of abundance surrounds you always. You need only recognize it and claim it. Lack is nothing but forgetting the ocean and staring only at the cup. Some people live by sight alone. They allow appearances to dictate their joy, their confidence, and their expectation. But those who live by faith are never moved by appearances. They know that the outer world is only a reflection of inner belief, and when the inner belief is abundance, the outer world must eventually mirror it. What you carry in consciousness manifests in experience. Therefore, the only real lack is the belief in lack. The moment you erase that belief and replace it with the truth of divine supply, the outer picture begins to change. You may ask, but what if I truly have nothing? What if I see only emptiness? Remember this, even in emptiness, God is present. Even in the wilderness, there is provision. Recall the stories of manna falling in the desert, of loaves multiplying to feed thousands, of oil flowing until every vessel was filled. These are not myths, they are demonstrations of divine law in action. The same law works today. Lack cannot exist where God is acknowledged as source. The moment you recognize Him as your provider, the illusion of emptiness breaks, and supply begins to appear in ways you could not have imagined. Train your mind daily to reject the picture of lack. Speak aloud. I do not see with human eyes, I see with eyes of faith. Where others see lack, I see divine supply unfolding. Where others see emptiness, I see fullness waiting to manifest. Where others see limitation, I see infinite possibility. These affirmations reprogram the subconscious mind, turning it from fear to faith, from doubt to certainty. And as the subconscious is transformed, life itself begins to shift, because your outer world always reflects your inner state. Do not confuse temporary delays with permanent denial. Sometimes supply takes time to appear in form, but the delay is not lack, it is preparation. The universe is aligning the right people, the right channels, and the right timing. Trust the process. Stand firm in faith, and the illusion of delay will give way to the reality of divine timing. Remember, the sun is always shining even when clouds cover the sky. Lack is only the cloud, not the sun, and clouds always pass. Every act of gratitude is a weapon against the illusion of lack. When you thank God for what you already have, no matter how small it may seem, you acknowledge abundance. Gratitude lifts your mind above appearances and aligns you with the vibration of supply. As you give thanks for the little, it multiplies into much. A grateful heart cannot live in lack, because gratitude keeps the flow of blessings alive. Begin each day in gratitude, and watch how quickly the shadows of lack dissolve. Generosity is another way to defeat the illusion. Fear says, hold back for there is not enough. Faith says, give freely, for the supply is endless. When you give, you declare with your actions that you believe in abundance. And life mirrors back your belief by multiplying your gifts and returning them in unexpected ways. You can never outgive God. The more you pour out, the more He pours in. The more you release, the more flows back. Generosity proves that appearances of lack are powerless to stop the circulation of divine good. The illusion of lack will always try to test you. Bills may come. Opportunities may seem delayed. People may disappoint you. But in those moments, you must choose whether to believe the shadow or the substance. Will you bow to appearances or stand firm in truth? Every test is an invitation to prove the law. When you refuse to yield to fear and instead affirm supply, you pass the test, and abundance manifests in even greater measure. There will be moments when your mind is tempted to drift back into worry. Catch those moments quickly and replace them with truth. Say aloud, this is only appearance, it has no power over me. My supply is secure, eternal, and unlimited. God is my source, and I cannot lack. Repeat it until peace fills you again. The illusion cannot survive repeated declarations of truth. Like darkness before the sunrise, it must vanish when light appears. Understand this deeply: lack has no spiritual existence. It is a false belief, a temporary picture, a shadow. Abundance is the eternal reality, the unchanging truth, the light, and truth always prevails over illusion. No matter how real lack may seem, it cannot endure. When you align your thoughts, words, and actions with divine abundance, the illusion crumbles, and the reality of supply appears in tangible form. So today, refuse to be deceived. Look beyond appearances. See with spiritual eyes. Trust in the unseen. Speak words of abundance. Give thanks. Be generous, and above all, declare appearances of lack are illusions. God is my unlimited source, and His supply flows to me now, without end, without limit, without delay. Hold to this truth, and the shadows of lack will vanish, replaced by the radiant light of divine abundance shining in every area of your life. Words are creative forces. Every declaration you make carries the vibration of faith or fear, truth or illusion, abundance or lack. When you speak, you are not merely making sounds, you are shaping reality. To declare is to command, to summon, to affirm, to call forth that which is already present in the unseen realm. Declaration is power, for it aligns your consciousness with divine law, and whatever you consistently declare becomes the fabric of your life. Many live under the spell of their own negative words. They declare daily, "I can't afford this. Life is hard. Nothing ever works out for me," and then wonder why their experiences reflect struggle, lack, and disappointment. The universe takes them at their word. What you continually declare with conviction, your subconscious accepts as truth and begins to reproduce. This is why the tongue is called creative, for it plants seeds that eventually bear fruit. But there is a higher way. When you shift from declarations of fear to declarations of faith, your entire life changes. Say within yourself, "God is my unlimited source. Supply flows to me in perfect ways. I prosper under grace. I live in abundance now." These words are not empty affirmations, they are spiritual decrees. They command the unseen into form. They tell your mind what to expect and invite divine law to bring forth matching conditions. Every great transformation begins with words. The world itself was spoken into existence. The command, "Let there be light," carried infinite power and called illumination out of darkness. In the same way, your declaration, "Let there be abundance," spoken with unwavering faith, calls prosperity out of limitation. Words are seeds, and declarations are the planting of those seeds in the fertile soil of spirit. With repetition, belief, and gratitude, the harvest is inevitable. Declaration is not wishful thinking, it is creative law. To declare is to announce what already belongs to you by divine right. When you say, "I am prosperous," you are not trying to convince yourself of a lie. You are acknowledging a spiritual truth that may not yet be visible but is eternally real. The invisible always precedes the visible. Just as a tree is contained within a seed long before it appears above ground, so abundance is contained within your words long before it shows up in your life. The mistake many make is waiting for conditions to change before they speak words of faith. They say, "When I see the money, I'll believe I am prosperous. When I see the healing, I'll believe I am whole. When I see the opportunity, I'll believe I am successful." But spiritual law works in reverse. You must first declare it as true in the unseen, and then it becomes visible in the seen. Faith speaks before it sees. Faith declares before it touches. Faith gives thanks before the gift arrives. Your declarations must be consistent, unwavering, and filled with conviction. A seed watered today and neglected tomorrow will wither. Likewise, a declaration spoken once without persistence carries little weight. Speak it morning, noon, and night. Write it, sing it, whisper it, shout it. Let your entire being vibrate with it. Each time you declare, you drive the truth deeper into your subconscious, and your subconscious becomes a mighty servant, drawing conditions that match your decree. Consider this: every declaration is either releasing angels or releasing obstacles. When you say, "I am always provided for," you release divine messengers that arrange supply. When you say, "Nothing ever works for me," you block the flow and magnetize struggle. Words are not casual, they are carriers of power. To declare is to legislate reality. You are the ruler of your inner kingdom, and your word is law. Some may ask, "But what if I don't feel prosperous? What if appearances contradict my declaration?" That is precisely why declaration is power. You are not affirming appearances, you are affirming truth. Appearances shift and change, truth stands eternal. To declare, "God is my unlimited source," when your wallet is empty, is to refuse the lie of lack. It is to rise above temporary conditions and claim eternal supply. And the moment you refuse to bow to appearances, appearances must eventually bow to you. Declaration is also alignment. When you speak words of faith, you align with the mind of God, and in that alignment, doors open. Ideas appear, opportunities arrive, the right people cross your path. The declaration does not create abundance, it tunes you into abundance. Just as tuning a radio aligns you with a broadcast already in the air, declaring aligns you with prosperity already present in spirit. There is a spiritual chemistry to words. Words carry vibration. High vibration words such as love, joy, peace, abundant supply, and faith lift your frequency and attract matching experiences. Low vibration words such as fear, lack, worry, doubt, and struggle lower your frequency and magnetize difficulty. This is why you must be careful not only with what you say aloud, but also with what you whisper within yourself. Silent declarations are as powerful as spoken ones. The inner dialogue you repeat all day long is writing the script of your life. When you declare boldly, you not only change yourself but also change the atmosphere around you. Declaration creates energy fields. Walk into a room declaring, "I am favored, blessed, and guided," and people will feel it without knowing why. Declare peace and the atmosphere shifts. Declare success and opportunities begin to stir. Declare love and hearts open around you. You are a creator through words, and the energy of your declaration shapes environments, circumstances, and even the responses of others. Some may argue, "But I've been declaring abundance and nothing has changed." The truth is everything has already begun to change, though you may not see it immediately. Declarations set spiritual law in motion, and just as a farmer does not plant today and harvest tomorrow, so you must allow time for the unseen to ripen into the seen. The delay is not denial, it is preparation. The soil is shifting, the roots are forming, and soon the manifestation will break forth. Another key is to declare with emotion. A dry statement of words carries little weight. But when your declaration is infused with feeling, passion, and gratitude, it becomes magnetic. Say, "I prosper now," with joy in your heart, with gratitude as if it were already true, and the universe cannot resist bringing it to pass. Gratitude is the fertilizer of declarations. Speak as though the blessing is already in your hands, and it will be. Declarations also break chains of the past. Many are bound by old words spoken over them, words of criticism, doubt, limitation, or fear. But your declaration today can override every negative word of yesterday. Say, "I am free, I am chosen, I am blessed, I am limitless." These words uproot lies and plant truth. Your future is not determined by what others have declared over you but by what you declare over yourself. Declaration is not arrogance, it is agreement with God. When you say, "I am abundant," you are not boasting, you are agreeing with divine law. When you say, "I am guided," you are aligning with truth. When you say, "I am successful," you are affirming the plan that heaven already has for you. To refuse to declare these things is to dishonor the gift of divine supply. To boldly declare them is to walk as a co-creator with God. Life will always test your declaration. The moment you affirm abundance, circumstances may arise that look like lack. This is the universe asking, do you believe your words? Hold steady, keep declaring, refuse to back down. The test is temporary, but the truth is eternal. Your steadfast declaration will outlast every appearance, and the manifestation will come in ways you could not have imagined. Declaration is also an act of dominion. You are not a victim of life, you are a ruler through spirit. Declare it so. Say, "I have dominion over fear. I have dominion over lack. I have dominion over every circumstance." The world may attempt to dictate your reality, but your declaration overrides the world. What you speak with faith is stronger than what circumstances show. Every great achiever, every person who has manifested miracles, has understood the power of declaration. They did not wait to see, they spoke it into being. They did not bow to appearances, they declared what was true. You too can live this way. Begin today. Do not wait until tomorrow. Speak now. Declare now. Plant seeds now. The moment you open your mouth with conviction, the universe begins to rearrange itself to fulfill your word. So rise each morning with a decree upon your lips. Before you check your phone, before you look at the bills, before you face the day, declare, "This is a day of divine supply. I am prospered, guided, protected, and blessed. All that I need flows to me now in perfect ways." Carry these words with you. Let them be your shield and your sword. They will carry you through challenges and open the way for miracles. At night, close your eyes with another declaration, "I rest in abundance. I am surrounded by divine supply. My tomorrow is greater than today." Fall asleep in faith, and your subconscious will work through the night to bring your words into form. Declaration is power because it is truth spoken with faith. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between spirit and matter, between divine promise and human experience. Never underestimate your words. Speak life, speak abundance, speak victory. For what you declare today will determine the life you live tomorrow. And when you declare, declare boldly, joyfully, and consistently. Stand tall and affirms, "God is my unlimited source, and supply flows to me now." This is the power of declaration. This is the secret of transformation. And this is the truth that will carry you into a life of abundance without limit.